Hi everyone, welcome to Sunya IAS. In this class, we are starting the new part of your ancient history series. I hope everything is working fine from your side. Please send me a hi or hello in the comment box. Yes. So guys, today we will discuss the Mauryan Empire, and specifically we'll discuss the time of Ashoka, because that is the most important specific part where the golden period of Mauryan Empire got started. Also the development of art and cultural activities happened in India. Ashoka was trying to do everything. He was like an all-rounder, you can say. That's why there are a lot of things which we need to cover about Ashoka. Okay, so let's resume it from the last class. If you remember, I discussed the introduction of Mauryan Empire with you. I gave you a good glance that how we understand this empire, what kind of approaches are there, what kind of sources are there. One more important thing is that in case you don't know how to get the study material and how to get the timings of the live classes or the new links and updates about it, you can join us. For that you need to just fill a form, and that is there in the description box. Okay, so link is there, and then you can also join our group. So there you will be able to interact with me and you can interact with other learners also. Okay, so now let's come to the topic. Yesterday we discussed that we have different kind of resources with us. We have archaeological evidences also, and we have literary records also. Why this empire is so important and what is the significance? The significance is that it had the unity which was at its peak. Okay, the great level of unity was achieved, a great level of centralized administration was achieved, and that was something which was unique about this Mauryan Empire. Okay, so political unity was achieved in India for the very first time, where entire North and South India was connected now. The part of northwestern India also got connected here, and we can see this by different literary sources. Like we have Kautilya's Arthashastra. There we have seen that it included the parts of public administration, also polity, diplomacy, relations, everything. Okay, so it was not just about economy. So basically, Arthashastra was divided into three parts. Okay, so there are three parts. In the first part, it deals with the king and his council and the department of the government. In the second part, it deals with civil and criminal law. In the third part, it deals with diplomacy and war. Okay, so all these things which we have covered yesterday, I just wanted to revise it for you again. Now look at this important map. We need to find few important locations here. Just look at the locations. This is a very important part, Kandahar. Okay, then you can see this is a part which Chandragupta Maurya achieved. Okay, and then you can see one more important part here, Takshila, which was a great center of learning, and very high level of urban development was also there. Then this was the Alexandria of Indus, which was established by Alexander himself, but after his death Chandragupta Maurya acquired it. Then we have Girnar here, Supara here. Okay, then we have this part of Brahmagiri here, then Amravati is here, you can see. So they reached up till the part of South India, not only the South Indian tip but other parts. Okay, if you just try to consider the other parts, then you will find that everything was controlled under the Mauryan Empire, and at that time it was very hard to achieve. It was for the very first time when we saw that from northeast to northwest everything was attached in one single empire. You can see Delhi Meerut area here, and it shows that so many important towns were also there. Mathura was a very important town at that time. Lumbini is here, very important town. Patliputra is here, you can see. Tamrilipti was also very important, because from Tamrilipti the trade used to happen with the east India and the part of coastal areas along the Bay of Bengal to the north and south India. So it was also a connecting port. Okay, so that's why this port is very important, Tamrilipti. Remember the name, we will read about Tamrilipti more in the ancient India. Okay, so all these important parts were there. Now let's see how it came under their influence. We have few more literary records. As I told you that Kautilya's Arthashastra is there. Then we have Vishak Datta's Mudra Rakshas. Mudra Rakshas was written by Vishak Datta. It is a drama in Sanskrit, and it shows us a picture on the socio-economic condition under the Mauryas. So even today, I remember that there used to be a serial which used to come on television around 10 years back. And in that serial, I remember that they used to show how Kautilya trained Chandragupta Maurya. Then that channel somehow got deactivated, and then a new system of dish connections came in India. And I remember that even today, that serial was not completed, but even today the parts and episodes of those important background of that serial where Chanakya is guiding Chandragupta Maurya, it is now very popular in the form of reels today. So I remember that even today people have that craze. Have you seen that kind of reel or videos? If you can, if you understand it, and if you have seen it, please let me know. And if you remember any of the important dialogue or any part from that particular drama, please let me know. I remember that there was a time when Chandragupta Maurya, when he achieved everything and he was ruling India, he said that now sometimes he feels very complex and hard inside. It feels very heavy, and sometimes it feels like he is not able to get a very fulfilled family life. He needs to leave his beloved also sometimes, and he was not very happy about few of the achievements which he had, just because he had to maintain a lot. So at that point of time, Chanakya said that it's not really easy to be a ruler of such a great big country. Okay, so just try to think like that. If you can't think like that, then you should not take that responsibility. And if you have this responsibility, you chose this path, then try to completely give everything to it and give your 100% to be that kind of ruler. So there are many, episodes and dialogues in that particular drama which are very, very popular today. So yes, this drama was written, but it was written in the Gupta period. Okay, so we can say that the stories of Chandragupta Maurya were quite famous in the ancient India, also in medieval times, and even today. Even in the reels, you can say that these dialogues are seen, these things are heard. Even today we are so fond of discussing it, and I don't know how many times I have taught this particular topic, and maybe you must have heard it more than thousands times, but it is always fascinating and interesting to hear the story of Chandragupta Maurya, right? Then Megasthenes, he was a Greek ambassador. Basically, when Seleucus Nicator was defeated, then Chandragupta Maurya got his daughter, after marriage. And when, the daughter, the Greek daughter, when she was coming to Chandragupta Maurya's court, with her, Megasthenes also came. And there was a custom, or even today this kind of tradition is there. When bride leaves the house for the very first time after marriage, she always has a companion. Sometimes it's her brother or maybe someone else who can go with her and settle down there for a very long time. So those traditions were being followed at that time. Even today it is very popular in India. So Megasthenes, when he came here, he saw very big palaces. He said that it is the greatest creation of mankind. And this line also came in your prelims, and it's a very popular line that he said that it is the greatest creation of mankind. He was so amazed to see those palaces. So he was a Greek ambassador in the court of Chandragupta Maurya. And his book Indica, however, this book is not completely there with us. The remains are there, few fragments are there. So we just try to compile it and understand it, that what he wanted to say. So the Mauryan administration, the details about the Mauryan administration is written in Indica, particularly the administration of the capital city of Patliputra, because there only he spent his most of the time, and also the military organization, which shows that the infantry, cavalry, and even elephants, chariots, everything was there in the army. The army was also divided in 6 divisions, and every part had its own head to lead the army. The picture on contemporary social life is also given by Megasthenes. Sometimes he used to exaggerate few of the points. Maybe he overheard something, maybe he assumed something from a foreign perspective. That's why it happened, right? Do you have any doubt from the last class? If you have, please let me know, because now we will not go back to the previous topics anymore. After this, we will start the Sangam age. Okay, maybe tomorrow I'll start the Sangam age, and then we will come to the part of medieval history and the transition period. Not completely medieval history, because that will come after Guptas. After Guptas, you will see the transitional period. So before I come to the transitional point, I just want you to be very sure about all the topics which we have covered till now. So in case you have any doubts, please let me know. Then we have some other literatures also, the Puranas and the Buddhist literature, such as Jatakas. If I, remember that Jatak stories, I told you, is based on the life of Buddha. And I told you that in those stories, people used to discuss how Buddha, before coming to a human life, took birth in different ways and in different bodies. Sometimes he was born as an insect, maybe an animal, or maybe something else, and every time in every life there was a different kind of struggle. So when people used to come to Buddha and ask about the problems of their life, the purpose of their life, because people always had this intention that we do so much in this life, we try to achieve this and that, we survive anyhow, but ultimately why we are doing it? Because ultimately that there will be the death, nobody can stop the death. Then what is the point of living and making so many things? So Buddha always used to say, and even these Jatak stories used to tell people, that it's best way to live the life in a human life, in a human form. Before coming in this human form or in this body, you crossed so many different types of lives, and every time the survival was very hard. Okay, if you just compare the life of human beings and animals or insects or any other thing, any other species, you will find that for humans it is way more easier, because we have brain, we have understanding, and the meaning and the reason to have this particular life is to live, to experience, because you can't experience the life and the beauty of life in any other form. Okay, but you can do much more in the human body, in the human form. So in these Jatak stories, people used to compose it, and it is the composition of common man. So sometimes they used to keep their common man's perspective also, that how commonly in society things are accepted and how few things are not accepted. So that also becomes a good literary source for us, okay, which provides the information about Mauryas. Then, as I told you that Ashoka tried to spread Buddhism in other parts of the world also, and especially he started his journey from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka was also known as Ceylon. So Ceylonese chronicles like Deepavamsa and Mahavamsa are very, very famous, in which we find the chronology, some administrative details of the Mauryan Empire. So Ceylonese chronicles, Deepavamsa and Mahavamsa, remember the names, throw the light on the role of Ashoka in spreading the Buddhism in Sri Lanka. And Ashoka, he sent his own kids to spread the Buddhism in Sri Lanka. Okay, we will come to that when we will discuss Ashoka, but right now we are trying to discuss the sources. So these were the literary sources, literary records. Clear? Okay. Now, I can see there is a question by Prince. Ma'am, you have uploaded only 2 videos of post-independence. When you will upload more videos of post-independence? See, post-independence series was uploaded by the team. I'll ask the team to, share more videos or the details that how the new videos would be there. Already the course is completed by me. They just need to upload the video. They have everything with them. I'll ask the team that how they are planning to make this particular course. Don't worry, just stay tuned and keep checking. And definitely I'll, confirm you about this particular course very soon. Fine. So now next point is archaeological sources. So edicts of Ashoka, they are the most important archaeological evidences. As I told you that we can have written records in the form of manuscripts or inscriptions. Manuscripts are perishable, but inscriptions can be written on a harder surface like on a rock or on a metal. Okay, so if it is written on a metal pillar, iron pillar, then it will not be perishable. So yes, at that time people had the very great skills of metallurgy with them. But the problem was sometimes you follow the trend, and uh, it is very foolish to know that we have the brains as human beings, but while following the trend, we don't understand that if it is trendy, is it really useful for me? For example, I'll tell you. Have you seen traditional kitchens? If you have seen traditional kitchens, maybe in village areas or in old houses, they used to have cemented slabs in the kitchen. Cemented almiras used to be there. And they used to make it by the bricks and cements. That used to be the tradition, okay, in the old times. Today we have modular kitchen where wooden works are done, okay, where the cupboards are shut and it looks very good and very spacious, right? It's very easy to clean and maintain also. But if you will try to see the utility, it's very hard to manage the modular kitchen, the new kitchens, in which they have the wooden slabs and maybe a wood like material is there. That is not very long lasting. It only stays for 5 years, maybe for 10 years, not more than that. Okay, because no brand gives you guarantee more than 10 to 20 years. I have recently found that there is a trend in India to make modular wardrobes, modular kitchens. Have you seen it? I don't know if you know about it. You must have seen this kind of change around your own, house and things. If you compare it with the traditional constructions, you'll find that today, just by following the trend, we are making it very weak. So today's material is very weak. Maybe it looks very classy and colorful and nice to us, but it is not very strong. The old constructions, the traditional kitchens, the traditional methods, the interlocking pattern of the brick, the cements, the mortars, gypsum, pestles, all those things had a great value. I remember that we have few things and few items which used to be there in the kitchens 100 years ago. It's given to us by our grandparents or great grandparents, but we might not have something to give to our future generations, because even whatever we buy today or make today is not very useful, and it is not very strong. It's not strong enough to survive more than 20 to 30 years. So it's like the trend that now just live your life, don't think about future. You may not have anything to pass on to the next generation, so whatever you have, enjoy it, live, and just go with this thing. After your life, the things which are made by you, maybe they are not sustainable enough that they'll be staying after you. Okay, so this shows that trend was also followed at that time. Why? Because see, Ashoka, he knew that metallurgy was known to the people. We had a great sense of archaeology and architectures and buildings and constructions, but still he followed wooden perishable materials. At that time, he made his palace completely wooden, okay, which is perished today. We don't have this right now. Why? Because we were following the trend. A new trend came to India from Persepolis in Iran, which we covered yesterday, that wooden materials are very good to follow. Okay. And why they used to follow wood at their area? Because it was hard to get wood in the Arabian area, in the Persian area. Basically, the area had a lack of climatic availability for the forests. That's why timber was not there. Other wooden materials were also not there. So they used to import the woods, and wood was a luxury item for them. For them, wood was the luxury item. But for us in India, wood was not a luxury item. Okay, because we already started the deforestation after getting the iron fluffs and iron axes in the 1000 AD, and a lot of forest area was brought under cultivation. So we already had surplus of wood with us. Carpentry as a new business got started in the later Vedic era because of the abundance of wood and wooden wastes around us. So wood was not a luxury good for us, but still we started making wooden palaces, we started making wooden pillars. So many wooden items were made, wooden sculptures were made, and these wooden excavations were done. So it was just to follow a trend, you can say, that people started just following it because they were influenced by the Iranians at that time, and maybe that's why we don't find it today. Okay, a maximum of those materials are not with us right now, but we have some other archaeological evidences which were made on rocks and metals. So the inscription of Ashoka were first deciphered by James Prinsep in 1837. I hope I have told you this one. Yes. Yes, you're right, Arvind. Okay, I'll come to your doubt. I'll come to your question regarding the exam pressure and other things. I'll discuss these personal issues later. Okay, if you don't mind, your personal issues like exam pressure and other things can be discussed in the end of the class. Don't worry. After completing the topic, I'll talk to you. Fine. So James Prinsep in 1837 basically discussed that what was written. So when we understood something, we started having more interest. Okay, and then the Ashokan deciphered scripts gave us greater details of the Mauryan administration. They are written in Pali language. Some of them are in Kharoshthi script also. In some places Prakrit was also used. Brahmi script was also used for writing these scripts, and in the northwestern India, Ashokan inscriptions were found in Kharoshthi script, which I told you came from which particular part? I just want to check how many of you remember. Kharoshthi script in India was inspired from where? How did we get to learn the Kharoshthi script? How we got the inspiration to use the Kharoshthi script? How Ashoka got the inspiration to use Kharoshthi? From where it came in India? Yes, as I told you, it came from Iran, right? It was the Iranian influence again. So let's see this particular map here. Here the squares are the major rock edicts. Okay, so we had major rock edicts at Sannati, Sopara, Girnar, Kandahar, Shabazgadi, then in Kalsi, Manesar, in these areas, and in Dholi, Jogada, Yeragudi, we had major rock edicts. Okay, then we had pillar edicts also, which are in triangular shape. So we had Delhi Topara pillar, Meerut pillar, Lauria Nandangad pillar, Lumbini pillar, Rampur pillar, Rolia Araraj pillar. So we had Amravati pillar also. We had pillar at Shabazgadi also. Okay, then we had some minor rock edicts which are in square, wide square. So we had minor rock edict in Kandahar, minor rock edict in Shabazgadi, minor rock edict around the Meerut area and Kaushambi area, and some minor rock edicts in South India also we had. Okay, So these all areas were the territories of Ashoka. So these archaeological evidences somehow confirm us that Ashoka had such a great empire. See, if I let's say if there is a nameplate, which is outside a house in which my name is written, so it confirms that it is my house, no? So somehow it confirmed that Ashoka ruled in these areas. That's why he used to issue these minor and major rock edicts and pillar edicts, in which he used to send messages to his people, the way he wanted people to perform few duties, the way he wanted people to follow Dhamma, his principles, his Man Ki Baat was somehow highlighted in these rock edicts and pillar edicts. So this map is important. Few of the locations are very very important where major rock edicts and pillar edicts are shown to you, and it will be great if you can remember the names of the locations and areas for the exam. It is very beneficial. So there are 14 major rock edicts, and the major pillar edicts are also there. They were erected in all the important cities. So somehow it is very clear that uh, it is very very evident that of course Ashoka had a great idea that in city areas population is high, population is more, so it is best to have these edicts in the most of the populous areas, and that's why he chose cities. The movement is very very high in the city area. Travelers also come and visit in the city area. You get highest part of your taxes from the city area, and it was sometimes a part of confluence also for many of the emporiums and traders, artists, travelers. That's why cities were utilized by Ashoka. Okay, there are minor rock edicts and minor pillar edicts also, as shown in this map. These edicts of Ashoka deal with what? Ashoka's Dhamma, and also instructions given to his officials. So if I talk about Dhamma, have you ever heard about a religion known as Confucianism? It is followed in China. Do you know the name of this religion? Confucianism. In this religion, it is very different from Buddhism, but it is similar to that. It is all about ethical code of conduct, your morals, that how to live in a good society, how to make your society good, how to help each other, how to value your traditions, how to respect everyone. So it's all about being a good person, being a good human being. Okay. And you'll see that in Dhamma also, many of these ethical code of conducts were written. So was Dhamma a new religion? क्या धम्म एक नया धर्म था अशोका के द्वारा शुरू किया गया? Was it a new religion by Ashoka? What do you think? Dhamma was a new religion or not? No, Dhamma was not a new religion. Okay, Dhamma was not a new religion. Dhamma was just a code of conduct, like how should you behave, how you should do things, how should you work for your family, for your country, the idea of being together in a society. All those things were there. So yes, in these rock edicts, the Ashoka's Dhamma, Ashoka's principles were written, and the 13th rock edict gives us a very great detail about his war with Kalinga. So it is very important for you to understand this particular point. Remember it, that in which particular rock edict the Kalinga war is explained, and after this Kalinga war, he saw so much of bloodshed. Lakhs of people were killed. There was a complete blood river in the part of Odisha. And then after seeing such a high mass killing, Ashoka got moved from his hurt, and he felt something inside that he needs to change, and he started following Buddhism. He started following the peace policy, and due to this peace policy also somehow it became a reason for the decline of Mauryan Empire later. But it was just one small reason. Other reasons were also there, because weak successor also came after Ashoka. Those weak successors could not take up the charge against the invaders and the expanding empire from the eastern part. And then Pushyamitra Shunga was their commander-in-chief of their army. He knew all the secrets of the army, since the Mauryan army used to function with a set of rule, and he understood that how could he break it and how could he win the territory. So ultimately Shungas revolted against the Mauryas and Shunga empire got started. So we will discuss Shungas also when we will see the end of Mauryas. But remember that the Ashokan peace policy was also a small reason behind the decline. The pillar edict of seventh number, it gives a summary of his effort to promote the Dhamma within his kingdom, that how he wanted Dhamma to be there with his people and how people should follow, right? So these are few of the important cities of Mauryan dynasties. So you can see here Sanchi, Ujjain, Sarnath, Mathura, Bodh Gaya, Barabar caves, Patliputra, Tosali, and this is Swarnanagari here, Pattal here, Takshila here. These are very, very important cities. Okay, so Mauryan Empire was started by Chandragupta Maurya, and then Chandragupta Maurya had his son Bindusara. Okay, so Bimbisar was there in Haryanka dynasty. Okay, Bindusara is different. So Bimbi, Bindu, two different names. They sound very similar, but remember that Bimbisar was in Haryanka dynasty, Magadha Empire. Okay, he came before Bindusara. Bindusara, who is having a Bindu. Okay, who is having a Bindu. Maybe he used to wear Bindi, that's why. Just remember in any way, with any example, with any joke, just try to remember that Bindusara was the son of Chandragupta Maurya. After him, Ashoka came. It is said that Ashoka killed Bindusara to get the throne. He also killed his 99 brothers to get the throne. So we don't know what exactly happened. Maybe he didn't kill 99 brothers, because it's very hard to have so many kids and it's very hard to kill so many people in your family. But he must have killed many of his brothers. Okay, maybe that's why this point is exaggerated in many of the historical sources. Like in Sri Lankan sources, it is said that he killed 6 brothers. Okay, so we don't know the exact number. Now let's come to the Chandragupta Maurya. So Chandragupta Maurya ruled from 322 to 298 BC, and the political history of Mauryas starts here. You see the part of Chandragupta Maurya expanded till the part of northwestern India. So he was more interested in conquering the land which was established by the Alexander and his governors. So he replaced all the governors of Alexander and took control of entire northwest area and the part of northeast also. So he is the founder, and he established a very firm empire in the Gangetic Valley. And then when he got this Gangetic Valley in his control, then he went to the northwest part of India, and then he got these territories also. Then he moved to the central India, and he got the central India also. He occupied the region north of Narmada river. At that point, Narmada river served as a boundary line between the North India and South India. So initially all the rulers in North India, they used to think that first try to capture till the part of Narmada river. After you get the Narmada river in your control, then only you can think about getting other regions in South India. Similar strategy was followed by Harshvardhan also. Harshvardhan also, when he reached until the part of Narmada river, then he planned to go beyond the Narmada river, and he attacked the Chalukyan dynasty. Pulkeshin II was the ruler at that time, but Harshvardhan was defeated by Pulkeshin II. So Narmada river became the boundary. Okay. Now here you can see Chandragupta Maurya was ruling in this much big part of land. In 305 BC, he marched against Alexander's general Seleucus Nicator, and he was controlling the northwestern India at that time. So yes, Seleucid Nicator was defeated by Chandragupta Maurya, a treaty was signed, and Seleucus Nicator gave the Trans-Indus territories, all the territories which are beyond the Indus River, to the Chandragupta Maurya. So the territories names are very important for prelims. Please write it down. Arya, Arachosia, Gedrosia. So Arya, Arachosia, Gedrosia was given to Chandragupta Maurya, and he also gave his daughter in marriage to the Mauryan prince Chandragupta Maurya. So with his daughter, Megasthenes was sent to the Mauryan court as a Greek ambassador, and then Megasthenes wrote Indica when he came to India. Okay, so he was already in Indian subcontinent, but why we say that he came to India? He came to India because then he came to the Mauryan Empire. Basically, he became the part of Mauryans. He became a court, part of the Mauryan court, you can say. Okay. Then Chandragupta embraced Jainism towards the end of his life. Yes, he followed Jainism very strictly. Then he went through Sarvana Belagola, which is near Mysore. This is the area where he went with a Jain monk, and that was Bhadrabahu. So basically many Jain monks travelled with him, but Bhadrabahu was the main, and then he starved himself to death. I told you that this practice of starvation is followed in Jainism. Can you tell me the name of this practice where you starve yourself to death? I told you about the story of Rajasthan High Court also, that in 2015 Rajasthan High Court banned this practice, but Supreme Court later uplifted the ban. So I told you the name of this practice of starvation. This is known as what? Let's see who can tell me the right answer. Sallekhana. This practice is known as Sallekhana. Yes, right answer is given by Saurabh and Sri Lakshmi. Well done, guys, both of you. Great. So yes, Chandragupta Maurya practiced Sallekhana in the end, after which Bindusara became the next ruler. So while his life only, Chandragupta Maurya decided that his son will be the next ruler. There was no fight of succession, nothing like that. Maybe that's why it is said that it's best to think and leave things when it is over. Okay. You will see that when people try to hold something at a very old level just because of their ego, they get killed by their own son, their own brother, or maybe someone else, right? So if you are not legitimate enough to rule, if you don't have the power, if you don't have the sufficient resources and people to support you, then you must leave that particular thing. In the political history of India, it is always seen that all those old rulers who used to be very reluctant and egoistic till the time of their, end age, they were either killed or poisoned, or they died maybe due to some other unforeseen circumstances by their own people, by their own family members. Why? Because they were holding the possession so hard. That's why Sallekhana is a practice became very popular. And it is in Jainism. Why? Because they said this only, that once you achieve a part of your life, and if you are fine to leave the things, then you can start practicing that penance and avoid having that holdings of your possessions. That's why it was very peaceful for Chandragupta Maurya to live, enjoy the life and achieve things, and in a very peaceful way he ended it. Okay. But then you will see Bindusara will come. Bindusara was also a very good ruler. He was called by the Greeks as Amitragatha. This is important for prelims. Amitragatha means slayer of enemies, killer of enemies. Okay. So he is said to have conquered the Deccan up to the Mysore area. So we can say that he penetrated in the Deccan area, and then Ashoka made it more clear. The way was prepared by Bindusara, but it was more achieved by Ashoka in South India. So the Sangam Tamil literature confirms the Mauryan invasion of, Bindusara of the far south. So yes, somehow we can say in this way Sangam literature is also very, very important. Okay, I'll tell you about the Sangam literature when we will discuss Sangam age. Can you tell me how many Sangams happened? Sangam is like a meeting. Sangam. जैसे कोई संगम होता है तो मीटिंग होती है, मिलन होता है, किस चीज़ का? तमिल पोएट्स का. So many Tamil poets used to meet here. So how many sangams we had in the Sangam age? How many meetings? कितनी बार ये मिलन हुआ? Can you tell me? Yes, 3 times. Okay, 3 sangams were there. It is said that in first sangam God himself came, but whatever was written is not available today. Then in second sangam it is said that again many big rulers but patronize it, and it happened in Madurai. But only one thing survived, Tolkappiyam is a literature which survived, but other literatures didn't survive. Then in the third Sangam, so many things were written, and mostly we have found those evidences today. So the third Sangam is the most important literary record source for us, because it gives us many different segments of literature defining the North Indian kingdoms also and North Indian invasions in South India also. So if I see the history in the perspective of North India and South India, you will see that North Indian rulers were more ambitious and aggressive towards penetrating in the South India. They were more interested in South India. However, South Indians were not much interested in coming in the north. Can you give me any example to or any statement which is historically proven to justify this point? We saw that many North Indian rulers, powerful, big rulers, they went to South India, and every big ruler of North tried to penetrate and wanted to go and win the South Indian landmass. But only few of the South Indian rulers did the same. Like we have Gangai Konda Cholpuram, but that is just one, I can say, exception. Right? Imperial Cholas were also there, but that is also exception, that they went towards Bay of Bengal and they were interested in some part of eastern India. But if specifically in North India, you will see that kind of thing was not there. And to justify this point, I can give you the example which I just gave you about Harshvardhan. Harshvardhan, when he was defeated by Pulkeshin II, Pulkeshin II could have asked Harshvardhan to surrender his entire North Indian empire. But Pulkeshin II left Harshvardhan. He didn't ask for anything, because generally what happens in a war, if these two rulers are fighting, and if one ruler will kill the another ruler, or if one ruler will defeat the another ruler, so either the other ruler will become a subject of that ruler, a governor who will rule in the name of that winner, otherwise he cannot survive, or he will give a part of his territory to the winner, right? So there is always a winner and loser. Do you know why it happened with Harshvardhan? Sea route connection was there, yes, with rest of the world, but that is not a reason for the South Indian rulers not getting much interest in North India. Why they were not very interested? Do you know? See, first of all, have you seen South Indian temples? If you have time, just try to visit any South Indian temple. To visit a South Indian temple, you don't need to go in South India. There are many South Indian temples. They follow the South Indian style, but they are in North India. In Delhi, you will find many Malai mandirs, okay, and there are many temples like this. You will see that they are very strict about following their rules and regulations and traditions. They don't like mixing. They don't like to see that mixture and hybrid culture. No, they are not very fond of this hybrid culture society. They really want to keep their own ways of living and doing things intact. And even in South India, the culture which is found in Mysore is very different from the culture which is found in other parts of Karnataka. The Malayalam will be very different from Telugu. Telugu speaking people may have a different kind of habits than the Malayali speaking people. Okay, so they always have this kind of distinct identity which they love, and they don't want to get mixed up with anyone else. Fine. Second is, as I told you, it's all about your hunger. and ambitions. They were very self-sufficient and happy at their own place. That's why they could never think about going beyond it. And third very big reason was that these small kingdoms in South India like Chola, Cheras, Pandyas, they used to fight among themselves. They never needed any other enemy from outside. घर में ही अगर दुश्मन है तो बाहर वालों से क्या प्रॉब्लम है ना. देयर इज अ शायरी ऑल्सो, हमें तो अपनों ने ही लूटा, गैरों में कहाँ दम था टाइप्स. सो people who were their own, they used to fight among themselves. You see Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas fighting so much again and again in the Sangam age. Later, after the Sangam age will end, you will see the similar fight between Pallavas and Cholas. Then Pallavas would be replaced by Cholas. Okay, you will see similar fight between the Chalukyas and Pallavas. Okay, then Chalukyas will have a fight with Rashtrakutas. Ultimately, Rashtrakutas will, replace the Chalukyas also in South India. So they were always busy in making and breaking their own kingdoms. They never had time to expand beyond the Narmada river. Even if any North Indian ruler used to come and attack, they used to beat and send them back. That don't come to this area. We don't want your territory and anything else. Just leave us because we are fighting among ourselves and we are very busy in keeping our own culture intact. Okay. I hope you understood the point. So, Sri Lakshmi, as you can say that I am a Keralite Malayali. So, do you think I am right? That even today in South India, I have seen that when I was living in Bangalore, I used to see that there is a, kind of a joke which is very popular that if there is a Telugu speaking, Kannada speaking and Malayali speaking person, and if they all are in our office, they always plan secretly against each other, and they, sometimes there is a sense of jealousy also. There is a sense of, making jokes and creating fun also, not very seriously, but in just a general manner. So it happens everywhere. In North India also we have so many cultures, but the kind of respect for your own language which is seen in South India is not that strictly followed in North India. That's what I want to say here. Okay, now Bindusar, he received Demachus as the ambassador from the Syrian king Antiochus. So this is again very very important for prelims, this point. You should write it down if you are writing your running notes. Then he supported the Ajivikas. Ajivikas are a religious sect. Okay, so yes, he supported Ajivikas also, and Bindusar appointed his son Ashoka as the governor of Ujjain. So from Ujjain, the journey of Ashoka starts, and you will always see that a great successor who can become a future king will always start his journey as a governor of a small area or an important city or a town. Like Ashoka became the governor of Ujjain. Later you will see that in the time of Mughals, also Aurangzeb, he became the governor of Deccan. Then he became the ruler, Mughal ruler. So it always happens like this, that you will first get a small responsibility, then you will play a bigger role, and ultimately you can become the emperor also. So Ashoka started his career from Ujjain, and yes, from here he started the rise. So this is Ujjain here. Okay. Right. So this is here, as you can see. This is Sarnath here. Very very important. Remember Sarnath. And here you can see river Krishna, river Godavari is here, river Krishna is here, right? And this part was very very fertile. This part and these parts, they had very important fertile soils. Fertility was a very great thing which people used to ensure in South India, and many of the South Indian rulers, they used to dig new canals every year. Irrigational methods, new technical irrigational technologies were developed, and that's why you will see due to this intention of creating big agricultural land mass, surplus agriculture, good fertility, good irrigation, this protection by the ruler to the farmers made farmers owners of their own land. And that's why you will see in the modern history, when Rayatvadi settlement was introduced in India, the permanent settlement was working in North India. Zamindari system was there in Bengal, Bihar, and Uttar Pradesh, and Mahalwari system was there in Gujarat. But Rayatvadi system was there in South India. So why it was there in modern India? Because in the Rayatvadi system, the farmer was the owner of his own land. Okay, and due to that ownership, it became a direct tax collection for the Britishers. The source was direct, and they never had to keep any zamindar or middlemen in the South India. That's why there was no zamindari system in the South India. It could not develop at all. Okay. There were polygars, but polygars were not like zamindars. They had a different sense of responsibilities and duties, which we will discuss later. So this is also a reason that why zamindari system was not popular in South India, but it became very popular in North India due to the methods of irrigations being practiced, followed and supported by the rulers and farmers in the territory of South India. Then Ashoka came, the next ruler became very, very important. So he ruled till 273 to 232 BC, and he started as a governor of Ujjain, and then he also suppressed a revolt in Takshila during his father's reign only, when Bindusara was ruling. When he he suppressed that revolt in Takshila, he became more popular, and people now assume that yes, Ashoka can only be the next successor. Okay, so there was a power struggle for throne after Bindusara's death, and the Ceylonese chronicles in Deepavamsa, Mahavamsa, they say that Ashoka captured the power after killing many of his brothers. So it is sometimes said that 99 brothers, sometimes said that maybe not 99 figure is not correct, but some other figure maybe is correct. We don't know the exact figure, but we know that yes, he killed many of his relatives to get the throne. Okay. So there is one name which comes when the 99 brothers figure comes. So including his elder brother Susima. However, we can't really rely on these traditional writings, because as I told you that sometimes everything which is written may not be correct. How? If you see any of the government data about mishappenings in the country, you will find that the numbers are not really correct. In reality, things are different. But maybe in the number, in the documents, in the government documents, in the official records, they show a different picture. Maybe due to corruption in bureaucracy, maybe due to corruption among the ministers, or any other reason. Okay, but it can never be justified only if it is written. Fine. Sometimes we need to see the practicality also. That was it really practical to kill 99 brothers? Fine. So we just need to check the criticism here. But according to Taranath of Tibet, it is again one of the very important source for us. Ashoka killed only 6 of his brothers. Okay, so we don't know which one is right. But the most important event of Ashoka's reign was the victory of Kalinga in 261 BC, and the effects of this war is described by Ashoka himself in the 13th rock edict, as I told you, and the effect of the Kalinga war is mentioned by him, after which he became a follower of peace policy. So Ashoka embraced Buddhism under the influence of a Buddhist monk, Upagupta. This name is important for prelims, that who influenced Ashoka to convert, who influenced Ashoka to follow Buddhism. Okay, that's very, very important, and you need to remember this. Okay, now I can see one of the question. Thank you so much, Pradeep, for your beautiful comments. And there is one question by Saurabh: why Ashoka is entitled with great? Why not Bimbisar and Chandragupta Maurya or any other ruler? See, you can only be a great person if you are all-rounder. Okay, you can do achievements in any one field, but if you have achievements in more than one field, two fields or five fields, then you can be considered as a great ruler. To be a great ruler, I have already explained it in many of my classes, that if you want to be a great ruler, you need to ensure few things in society. First of all, discrimination in the society should be low. Women empowerment should be there. If women empowerment is high, then yes, you can say that the greatness will come in the society. Third important thing is that if you there is no foreign attack. Okay, if your rule is so strong and so powerful that any foreigners or any foreign empire is afraid of penetrating into the India, we don't see any foreign attacks happening in India at that time during the Ashokan period. Fourth important thing is the cultural development, the art and cultural activities, the way we find the Ashokan edicts, Ashokan pillars, the remains of his palaces, okay, the literary records which were written about him and during his period, made him very great. Okay, if you compare it with Chandragupta and Bimbisar, not Bimbisar but Bindusar, you will see that Ashoka achieved more than them. Okay, why? Because he was not having the burden to lay the foundation as Chandragupta Maurya had. Okay, and Ashoka never had any help of a kind of a person the way Chandragupta had Kautilya with him, right? So he was creating a new set of example, right? He was taking things to a new level. So if you are coming to a, let's say take example of a business family. If there is a business family and if they are doing a very good business, and if their kids of their second generation and third generations are not taking it to a new level, then it will never be a great. Whatever you got, if you just trying to maintain it, then there will be no justifications to your achievements. But if you are able to maintain it, control it, and expand it more with a good stability, with women empowerment also, with army expansion also, with religious expansion also, cultural developments also, and also taking the Indian culture to the international levels. Because while spreading Buddhism, Ashoka ensured that Indian culture, Indian trade is also expanding. Indian economy was also getting more developed. We got a lot of new scopes of trading activities, commercial activities also increased, and that's why it took India to a new level. That's why he is considered as a great ruler. Okay, so as you know that in Buddhism, women they get more importance. They get right to enter in the religious assemblies also, and there is more equality to the women, more equalities to the lower caste people. So this kind of very nice society full of equality somehow influenced the historians to write it. Clear? Yes, overall development is very, very important. Clear? PN, you have written about Hindi medium. Sure, we will try to start something for bilingual and Hindi students also very, very soon. Don't worry. Then Ashoka and Buddhism. So about 261 BC, Ashoka became a Sakya Upasak, a lay disciple, and 2.5 years later, Bhikshu. He became a monk. Okay, so you can see that how he started his journey in Buddhism. Initially, he just used to do the upasana, means puja part karte the simply, and he became an upasak. So when he was doing upasana, he just started being a disciple, and then when he understood the disciplines of Buddhism, he after 2.5 years became a monk. Okay, then he visited Bodh Gaya and organized missions. And when he learnt about Buddhism, no, it is a story that he became so interested in Buddhism that he wanted to learn more, and he made it very clear that he will visit all the important places wherever Buddha went. like all the places he visited. He visited the part where Buddha was born. He went to Kapilvastu also. He went to Sarnath also. He went to each and every area and ensured that there is a structure or a stupa or a pillar, rock edict or something is there which will be remembered in future. So this kind of like and love was there for Buddhism from the heart of Ashoka. Then he started the missions. He appointed special officers to make this mission work in future and work in a long lasting way. So yes, Dharma Mahamatras were the officers and they were appointed to speed up the process and the progress of Dhamma. So Dhamma was the code of conduct, like how societies should function, how people should work. This concept was there. And Buddhism was the religion. So in 241 BC, he visited the birthplace of Buddha, and there in the Lumbini garden he saw things. Then in near Kapilvastu he visited it, and then he visited other holy places of Buddhism like Sarnath, Saravasti, Kushinagar. Then he sent missions to Sri Lanka also under his son Mahendra and daughter Sanghamitra. So do you see anything which makes him more great now? When he sent his son, he also sent his daughter, which shows that he had a sense of respect for women, women empowerment, and the independence to a girl child what you can give, right? So he set a new example in the society where kings were the kings were trying to do matrimonial alliances while using their daughters to get married with the king who is not of the daughter's age or near to their age, without even taking the consent of the daughter, without even taking any explanations or likeliness from her. Unlike all those other kings, at that time, what Ashoka was doing, he sent his daughter. So, sending his daughter somehow creates a great impression that he had a respect for all the genders. And when he started following Buddhism, he used to ensure it in his writings, in his many of the edicts. He ensured it and he wrote it that if we are following Buddhism and if I want you to follow Dhamma, I don't want you to hate Brahmanism. I'm not saying that Brahmanism is not good. Brahmins are also good. They are also fine. They are also doing their job. So just be tolerant, right? So this tolerant policy was very, very great. Okay. And then he planted there the branch of original Bodhi tree. So basically Mahendra and daughter Sanghamitra planted the branch of original Bodhi tree there. So this is the way how Buddhism went to Ceylon. Okay. Then Ashoka convened the third Buddhist council at Patliputra in 240 BC in order to strengthen the Sangha, and it was presided over by Mogaliputta Tisa. I hope you have written this. I have dictated this to you. I have dictated all the 4 councils of Buddhism and the 2 councils of Jainism, what happened in which council, which ruler influenced what. We have already written it, so no need to write it again. Now come back to the extent of Ashoka's empire. Now northwestern frontier was already demarcated by Chandragupta Maurya, and beyond that point nobody wanted to expand. I told you why. Tell me. Can you give me the answer? That why this boundary line was already demarcated and nobody wanted to expand beyond that particular area. Yes, you can say Ashoka was a kind of a feminist, right? Exactly. It is a progressive approach which he followed, right? You're very, very right. Okay. I told you 2 points. Basically, there was a cold weather, so climatic conditions were very harsh. And second was the tribals. I told you about the tribal groups, Afghani tribal groups and the Afghani society. See, Afghani society and tribal groups are very different from the Indian society and Indian tribals. They are so different and uh, they are so interesting that even Britishers could not control them. Do you know about Anglo-Afghan wars? Like how English tried to win and go beyond the part of Punjab, but they could not control Afghanistan. They had to make secret treaties. They signed a treaty with a tripartite alliance with Raja Ranjit Singh also. They wanted to establish Shah Suja, but Dost Muhammad was the ruler of Afghanistan at that time. Even if he was replaced, people started a civil war, and they were not ready to accept anyone else. So people of Afghanistan, they always had a great respect for their leaders, for their rulers. They could not see any other come and rule and take a position like this. No. In the mind of those tribal people, their chiefs, their head, or their amirs were like lord. They were like gods. Okay. And they were irreplaceable. So this kind of mindset was there in the society, and it was very hard to achieve, the hearts of the people in those tribal areas. Clear? Yes. So Ashoka's inscriptions mention the southernmost kingdoms, in which they, discuss that what kind of boundary lines were there. So it shows that somehow the confirmation about the South Indian kingdom is also coming for us. Now there were Cholas, Pandyas, Satyaputras, Keralputras also as border states. So it means that in these areas Ashoka was not ruling. He could not penetrate. He was not interested in going beyond these particular bordering states. Fine. So they came as a border for him. Therefore, these states remained outside the Mauryan Empire. Clear? So if they ask you in prelims that how it is confirmed that these states were outside the Mauryan Empire, so you will write that it is justified through the Ashokan inscriptions, because it is mentioned in that. Clear? And then according to Raj Tarangini was written by Kalhana, and it is a Kashmiri chronicle. It was a part of Mauryan Empire only, and it says that Kashmir came under the Mauryan rule. Kashmir was a part of Mauryan Empire, and in Raj Tarangini what they have written, there is an entire chronology of rulers, like who came first, then how he was replaced by the new ruler, then who came next, then who will come next, then how he ruled, then what kind of administration he followed. So it is a detailed political chronology which is written by Kalhana. Okay, the name of this literature is Raj Tarangini. Okay, and Nepal was also within the Mauryan Empire. Okay, so it shows that Nepal was already there. So when you see in the news that sometimes Nepal, they claim the territories in India, that it is the Nepali culture, it is part of Nepal. So they must understand that Nepal itself was a part of India, right? If you read the ancient history. Like this only Chinese have made a strategy to show everything part of their own country, China. They say that the South China Sea, the entire island areas, bordering states, Vietnam, Tibet, all these, areas had their own Chinese traditions, cultures and rulers. So this is a Chinese territory. They show it in their own map. This is their diplomacy which they do. But Indians, we don't follow it, right? A bit of international relations touch is also given to you. You guys should be very thankful to these classes, right? I am interlinking so many types of points for you. Then Ashoka's Dhamma. So I told you very briefly that how the Dhamma was. It was a code of conduct. It was a doctrine where Ashoka wanted people to follow few morals and ethics in their life. Okay. So his policy of Dhamma was all about a good behavior. It was still a very broad concept with elaboration of a way of life. So do you see any reason why Ashoka started this new policy of Dhamma. When he was already popularizing Buddhism so much, he started following Buddhism. He started Buddhism, getting spreaded everywhere. Then what was the reason? Why it was needed to have a new concept of Dhamma in a society like India? Why? Because the points are very similar to Buddhism. If you see, it signified a general code of conduct, a set of principle to be adopted and practiced by the people at large. In Ashoka's Dhamma, it mentioned that how people should behave in society. In his various edicts, he wrote about it. So, points like service to father and mother is important, practice of ahimsa, love of truth, reverence to teachers and good treatment of relatives, prohibition of animal sacrifices, festive gatherings, avoiding expensive and meaningless ceremonies and rituals. Like Indians, they even take loan for marriage, right? For the marriage ceremony, they try to take loan and they try to show people that okay, such a big level of celebration is happening, so we are very rich and we can do such a high level of expense. Efficient organization of administration in the direction of social welfare and maintenance of constant contact with people through the system of Dhamma Yatras. Because in Dhamma Yatras, missions were followed where Dhamma Mahamatyas used to go and they used to propagate the principles of Dhamma. So I asked you a question, when these things are very common in other religions also, even in Buddhism it is already there that you should follow non-violence, you should be tolerant, accept women, accept everyone in society. So when you are already following Buddhism and popularizing it, then why can't you just focus on one small thing? Why can't you just be focused? Why you need to start a new set of code of conduct with the name of Dhamma? Was there any use of Dhamma? Do you see any use or utility? Yes, thank you so much, Sri Lakshmi. Are you getting my point? So this is known as a backdoor approach. In diplomacy, in international relations, you will read it, that sometimes when you can't impose anything very directly on the people, and if you want masses to follow something, then you can have this backdoor approach, piche ka rasta, okay, in which you do something very indirectly. Basically, if you want to follow Buddhism, let's say, if you like this new religion, you must convert, right? You need to leave your existing religion, whatever you are following, or even if you're not following, it doesn't matter, but you need to convert religiously to follow Buddhism, right? If I want to become a Buddhist today, I need to leave my religion first. After getting converted only, I can follow the principles of that religion, right? But to follow Dhamma, I don't need to convert at all. Even a Hindu can follow Dhamma, right? Any other religious group, any sect, any part of society can easily understand it and they could easily follow it, right? There is no, no point against which you can raise a question. They are only asking you to follow, service to father and mother. Who will go against it? Everyone will say that yes, it is right, it is fine to follow, it is so good and easy to understand. So the concept was so easy, like human treatment of servants के साथ अच्छा रखो सब कुछ, masters and prisoners, by government officials, it should be very human, it should be very good when you are treating them, when you're treating your servants. So masters should try to keep it very easy with them. Government officials try to take it very easy with the prisoners. Okay, you should consider non-violence to animal, right? Non-violence to animals and courtesy to relations and liberality to Brahmins. So This kind of courtesy, this kind of relations, this kind of approach came because Ashoka knew this backdoor approach. Tolerance among all the religious sect, conquest through Dhamma instead, of through the war. So yes, these points somehow made Ashoka very, very strong. The concept of non-violence and other similar ideas of Ashoka's Dhamma are identical with the teachings of Buddha. But people who never wanted to convert, or if they had their own religious beliefs, they could easily follow Dhamma. That's why he was trying to have this backdoor approach. Buddhism remained his personal belief, but he did not equate Dhamma with Buddhist teachings. He knew that these Dhamma teachings are different, these concepts are new, and he just ensured it that it is only a code of conduct in the society. Clear? And after the death of Ashoka, weak successors came, due to which there was a kind of a revolt against the dominations of Mauryas in from the part of eastern India. And then you will see initially there will be a split, and then after the split there will be a breakdown. Then later Mauryas came. So Ashoka's death happened in 232 BC, and after this the division of Mauryan Empire happened into the western and eastern part. Due to the Bactrian invasion in India, the western part of the empire collapsed. I have already shown you Bactria. So from there the invasion happened because they knew that Ashoka is no more, there is no central administration, it was very easy to win the war. And the last Mauryan king was Brihadratha, who was assassinated by Pushyamitra Shunga, who established Sunga kingdom. Then Sunga dynasty will come, right? So this will be touched in the next class. Okay, how Sunga dynasty came, what happened in the dynasty, how things were there. So till then, we will just discuss the Mauryans, their administration, the governors, their rule, their system, right? Do you have any doubts? Kindly write few of the points. Let me just explain few of the lines for you about Ashoka. There are few questions and repeated topics. Some important details are there. Just try to write it down. Yes, it was more layman, you can say. A Deen-e-Ilahi of Akbar was a new religion, and that's why nobody followed it, because nobody wanted to convert, right? But to follow Dhamma, you don't need to convert at all. That was the beauty of Dhamma. Clear? Okay. So I'll just take a few minutes for dictating you few of the important points coming from your PYQs. Try to read these points in your self-study also. Okay. Put a question. It can come as a question. So please write. Explain the causes of Magad's success. After this, I'll tell you something about Mauryas also. Saurabh is saying that Pushyamitra has Mitra in his name, but he is not at all behaving like Mitra. Of course, you must have heard that जो दिखता है वो होता नहीं है, right? Sometimes truth is very different from what you see and hear. Okay, kindly write few points about the causes of Magad's success. I have already explained this to you. So please write it. You can write it in your own words later. Just write few specific pointers which needs to be mentioned in the exam if it comes, or if in any way if it is asked to you. So number one, first is the geographical position. First point is Magad enjoyed an advantageous geographical position. We have discussed it. Then Magad was located on the main land route, which was between West and East India. Okay. Both Rajgir and Patliputra were located on the strategic positions. And the area had a fertile soil, which was drained by river Ganga, and it received enough rainfall throughout the year. Okay. Then we discussed that Patliputra has famous water forts. Okay. So basically, Jaldurg was there, Jaladurga, Jaldurg. Basically, the area was covered by the rivers on all the sides, and along the gaps there were hilly regions. So they made it fortified, and that's why it was known as a Jaldurg. I'll repeat the point. Patliputra has a famous water port encircled by rivers on three sides. Rivers on three sides: the Ganga, the Son, and the Gandak. Gandak. Ganga, Son, Gandak, making the region impermeable to the enemies. And also fourth river Ghagra joined Ganga nearby. Okay. And fourth river Ghagra, Ghagra joined Ganga nearby. You must be knowing that there are many left bank tributaries of Ganga river because it follows a dendritic pattern, right? Ram Ganga, Gomati, Ghaggar, Gandak, Kosi, all these are tributaries of Ganga. Next point. In Magad, they had huge copper and iron deposits. Okay. Then they had large population. They followed different occupations such as agriculture, mining, building cities, and working in the army. Okay. And the last important point is that with the annexation of Anga by Bimbisar, the river Champa was added to the Magad Empire. Then Champa was a very important source for their trade with the Southeast Asia. And it also helped them in trade with Sri Lanka and South India. That's why it is important. Okay, I'll repeat the point. Please write. With the annexation of Anga Mahajanpad, with the annexation of Anga by Bimbisar, river Champa was added to the Magad Empire. Magad Empire. Full stop. Champa was important in the trade with Southeast Asia, comma, Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka, and South India. And South India. Okay. Then next important thing is that Magad society had an unorthodox character, right? It was not dominated by Brahmins. So Magad was a very liberal society. That's why the progress was there, progressive society, liberal society. Then there was a good mix of Aryan and non-Aryan people in Magad. So new strategies and progressive ideas came in this area. Then emergence of Jainism, Buddhism both had started from this area only, which led to a revolution in terms of philosophy and thoughts. So of course they both enhanced the liberal traditions. Then Magad had a strong standing armies, they had availability of iron also, they had advanced weapons also, and they had good uh, large scale deployment of elephants also in their wars, and that's why they could win it, right? So I hope it is all clear to you. Fine. Now I'll just repeat the points of Mauryan Empire with you, whatever I have explained to you till now. Just try to check if you have missed anything in your notes or anything in my explanation. Try to write it down. I'll just try to revise it very quickly. And if you have not missed anything, then just don't worry, listen to it, keep it as a revision in your mind, and that will be enough for you, right? So, first of all, when you will discuss the Mauryan Empire, if any questions comes there in the exam, try to explain the greatness of the empire first, because it was a very vast empire, right? And it was something which gave it a very stable administration also, right? So we have different sources and different viewpoints about the origins of Mauryas. However, every viewpoint is not important for us, but Mauryan empire is somehow said that it was originated in the kingdom of Magad only, in the Indo-Gangetic plains, with Patliputra as their seat of power. And in all the sources, both classical and Indian sources, they suggest that yes, Mauryan Empire came like this. And then they also tell that Alexander's invasion of northwest resulted in the establishment of Mauryan Empire. Why Chandragupta Maurya? Because then only Chandragupta Maurya overthrew Nanda dynasty with the help of Chanakya. Clear? Then, when you talk about the sources of Mauryan Empire, we have archaeological sources like we have inscriptions, coins, monuments. Then we have iron implements. We have NBPW wares, northern black polished wares. We have ring wells, burnt bricks. And if you talk about literary resources, we have many literary sources like Indica by Megasthenes is there, but there are many religious literatures also, and there are many historical sources also. I told you about some historical sources like Arthashastra by Kautilya and Mudra Rakshas by Vishakadatta. But if you talk about other religious literatures, religious records, there we have Brahmanical literature like in Puranas. We see the mention of Mauryan Empire, and in Buddhist literature like Jatak stories, Deepavamsa, Mahavamsa, everywhere the sources are written. Fine. Now when we talk about the archaeological sources, we saw the Ashokan inscriptions. We saw that his inscriptions were written in Brahmi, Kharoshthi, Prakrit, and some Greek languages had been used in his Ashokan scripts. So in Ashokan, pillars and edicts. So that somehow helps us in the reconstruction of the modern period to a great extent. And it became very possible only after the Brahmi script was deciphered by James Prinsep in 1837 AD. So somehow that really helped us. Then we discussed so many different major rock edicts, like the way they covered the different scope of defining nature and applicability of Dhamma, how Dhamma was popularized. So just write few of the locations which is important for exam. They may ask you in exam that in which of the areas major rock edicts were found. So kindly write that, put a subheading major rock edicts of Ashoka, major rock edicts of Ashoka, and then write that they were located at Kalsi, Dehradun, Kalsi in Dehradun, Kalsi, Kalsi in Dehradun, comma, Girnar in Gujarat, Girnar, Girnar in Gujarat, comma, Yeragudi in Andhra Pradesh, Yerragudi, Yeragudi in Andhra Pradesh, comma, Manesara in Pakistan, Mansehra HRA. Mansehra in Pakistan, Mansehra, comma, Sopara in Bombay. Sopara, even today Sopara is very famous in Bombay, comma, Dhauli and Jogada in Odisha. Dhauli, Dhauli, Dhauli and Jogada, Jaugada in Odisha. Dhauli and Jogada in Odisha, and Shehbaz Gadhi in Pakistan. Shehbaz Gadhi, Shahbazgarhi. Sorry. Okay. Now, these important, things were there. Sometimes it is asked that what was written in all the 14 rock edicts, okay, or in which edict what exactly was written. So that I'll just explain. If you want, you can write. If you don't want, you can just listen. Okay. So we had 14 major rock edicts. In the first rock edict, it prohibits the animal slaughter. Okay, that we should not kill animals. And in the second rock edict, it talks about planting medicinal herbs, okay, and do some humane behavior with animals, and do some good treatment, give medical treatments to whoever people, if they are needy, try to help them out. It also mentions about Cholas, Pandyas, Satyaputras, Keralputras as their border states. Then in the third rock edict, they talk about the people who used to do the preaching of Dhamma. Okay, so he told that how Rajukas and Yuktas were going on tours, how Mahamatyas were going on tours and inspections to preach the Dhamma. In the fourth rock edict, he said that Dhamma Ghosha replaced Bheri Ghosha, means war drum. भेरी घोषा इज अ वॉर ड्रम. सो धम्म घोषा, धम्म मीन्स धर्म की विजय करने वाला, धम्म की विजय करने वाला. तो धम्म घोषा ने जो वॉर करने वाला है उसको अब रिप्लेस कर दिया है, राइट. दिस ही समहाउ वांटेड टू से इन हिज फोर्थ रॉक एडिक्ट. सो धम्म घोषा रिप्लेस्ड भेरी घोषा. Then in the fifth rock edict, he was talking about Dhamma Mahamatyas who got appointed. In sixth rock edict, he told about Mantri Parishads and his officers, like Pulisani and Pati Vedakas, reporters were there. Okay, so Mantri Parishads were written in sixth rock edict. Okay, officers like Pulisani, Pulisani, and Pati Vedakas means reporters, Pativedakas. Okay, so all these things he wrote. Then in seventh rock edict, he talked about religious tolerance. Okay, in seventh rock edict, he discussed religious tolerance. In eighth rock edict, he talked about dhamma yatras, dharma tour, and he said that dharma tours are replaced. And they replaced the Vihar Yatras, means royal pleasure tours. Basically, he wanted to tell people that before joining Buddhism, I used to take the royal pleasure tours like Vihar Yatras I used to do. यहाँ वहाँ घूमता रहता था, विहार करता था. But now I am doing dharma tours, यानी कि धम्म yatras. So he wanted to tell people that dhamma yatras now replaced the Vihar Yatras. Then in his ninth rock edict, he emphasized on Dhamma and moral conduct. Okay. Then in 10th rock edict, he said that no desire for fame and glory by king is there. Now he is desireless. In his 11th rock edict, he gave the policy of Dhamma as the best policy to follow, by anyone. In 12th rock edict, he discussed about Mahamatas in charge of women's welfare. He discussed women's empowerment, women welfare. Then in his 13th rock edict, Ashoka's victory over Kalinga was discussed. I have already told this to you. In his 14th rock edict, he describes the engraving of the inscriptions in different parts of the country. So the 14th rock edict of Ashoka is like a historical source for us, because it will be discussing the inscriptions in different parts of country, right? So these are all were the meanings of his 14 rock edicts. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. If you have any doubts, please let me know. Yes, Champa is now not there. Clear. Fine. I hope the concept of rock edict is clear to you. Now, please write few locations of major pillar edicts. It can also come in your prelims. Major pillar edicts. Major pillar edicts are 7 in number. 7 pillar edicts थे हमारे पास, 7 pillar edicts. And the contents of major pillar edicts are, the contents of major pillar edicts are appendix to rock edict. Okay, so whatever is written in the rock edict finds the appendix in the major pillar edict. So appendix spelling is APPENDIX. I'll repeat the point. The major pillar edicts are 7 in number. The contents of major pillar edicts are appendix to rock edicts. The site of major pillar edicts are Topra in Punjab, TOPRA, Topra in Punjab, Meerut in Uttar Pradesh, MEERUT, Meerut in Uttar Pradesh, Allahabad in Uttar Pradesh, Lauria Araraj in Bihar, Lauria Nandangarh in Bihar. Both Lauria Araraj and Lauria Nandangarh are in Bihar. So Lauria Araraj, LAURIYA Can you see this in the map also? This is here. Lauria Araraj and Lauria Nandangarh. Look at the map. These two locations are here only. We have already discussed. Next is Rampurva, which is again in Bihar. Rampurva in Bihar. So Topra, Meerut, Allahabad, Lauria Araraj, Lauria Nandangarh, Rampurva, Bihar. Okay. Last, 2 pillars, one from Topra and other from Meerut, were shifted to Delhi by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Okay. Firoz Shah Tughlaq of Delhi Sultanate, he shifted 2 pillars of Ashoka, one from Topra, TOPRA, and other from Meerut. Okay. So from Topra and Meerut, he shifted it. They were shifted to Delhi by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. This is important for prelims. Remember this. Okay. Then when we talk about the Ashokan pillars, the Allahabad pillar is very, very famous. So the Allahabad pillar edict was, something in which Samudragupta also had its inscription. So on one side Ashokan inscription is there on the pillar, on the other side Samudragupta's inscription is there on this edict. So basically Jahangir, when he became the ruler, he was responsible for its removal to the Allahabad fort. So he, removed it. And then Ashoka here in this particular pillar warns the members of Sangha against causing the division in the ranks. He said that we should not have any fight or split. And on the other side, where Samudragupta had its inscription, Harisena composed it, and there is the Prashasti of Samudragupta, in which a lot of point about Samudragupta's military expeditions are exaggerated, that he was a great ruler, and that Prashasti is written. Okay, so that's why that Allahabad pillar is important. Clear? So all these points were about the Ashoka. Okay, then kindly write one point which is related to Megasthenes, which can come in exam. Megasthenes mentions of the wooden structure. This is a star, make a star, it's good for art and culture. See, even if you are not writing, just try to listen it. You may find it in your art and culture book. If you want, you can write. Megasthenes mentions of the wooden structure at the Mauryan capital Patliputra. Full stop. Excavations show that logs of wood were also used as an important line of defense against flood and foreign invasion. Okay, so for their defense also they were using the logs and trees. LOGS, logs. Yeah. Now, Sri Lakshmi, you have asked about a question that what is Bheri Ghosha, right? Bheri Ghosha was the war drum. लड़ाई का drum जो होता है, war drum. He was just wanted to say that Dhamma Ghosha replaced Bheri Ghosha, means now I am just doing to, I'm just going to spread the Dhamma, and there is no spread of war. So the declaration of war drum, is known as Bheri Ghosha. Clear? Okay. One more point I just want to tell you, Sri Lakshmi and other students also, that if you guys feel like you missed anything in the video, you can simply watch it again by clicking on the video. You can go forward and backward on YouTube very easily. You can increase the speed. If you don't want to write, if you don't want to take the dictation, you can just listen to it by increasing the speed. If you want to write it, you can slow it down. Okay, the speed is in your own hand, and if you want any point to be repeated, you can watch it in the backward mode. As now I am ending the session, so you will have time to watch it again and write the things and points again. Don't worry. If you have any other doubts, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll end the session here, and in the next class we will discuss the post Mauryan period. Clear? I hope, Sri Lakshmi, your doubt is clear and you can watch it by making it. Yes, these features are there already on YouTube. You can already, have it with you. So just try to use it. Fine. So I hope, guys, I can end the session now. Is there anything you want to discuss? If you want me to talk about anything, please let me know. Otherwise, we will just end it here. Rajsundri, you have a question about writing the exam. Till what age you can write? Any age relaxation in age and attempt? It also depends on your job profile, Rajsundri, and I think you can't get the right answer in this, live session. It's better to check the notification there. And I don't know about the relaxations completely about the job posts and the employees. So you need to check that in which category you fall, and according to that, you need to check the relaxation eligibility in the notification of UPSC. So just try to download the notification and then read it there. And if you find any difficulty after reading that, let me know. It also depends on other things also. It's not just about the post. Sometimes they check other points also regarding the category from where you come. Okay. Then one question is about completed history. See, we are doing complete. Okay, complete history is going to be discussed. I am not leaving any point. I will discuss each and everything with you. Uh, if you want to check, you can even try to solve some questions. I'll also try to include some MCQs topic wise. I had a plan to have a different course of NCERT through MCQ with you, in which or in on weekends what we can do is that whatever we covered on the weekdays, on the weekend we can have a topic wise discussion on NCERT through MCQ. That will really help all of you to cover it in a revision way, and that will help you to learn the points also. Fine. Right now we are planning to have a break on Saturday, Sunday, but in case there is any change, you will get the update on Telegram. Rajsundri, if there is no mention about that, then it means that you don't have that kind of relaxation at all. Okay. One more thing is that please try to check the criterias as per your category. Like for general categories, there are different or levels of attempts. You can only give 6 attempts, so just try to see other relaxations if you can find. Okay. Okay, done. So guys, I'll end the session here. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for watching. See you then. Take care. Bye bye.